Hi again everyone, Scott Pyre, Pop Culture fan here, and in this video, I want to talk about a few things. I want to discuss my thoughts on how Wes Ball could handle Legend of Zelda after Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes out, and just talk about what he could do with the story for this new Zelda movie that is currently being written for, I believe, but I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about a few other things here because the Detective Pikachu movie, which came out 5 years ago, will be celebrating its 5-year anniversary on May 10th, which is funny because Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes out May 10th next month, and that's interesting that the Detective Pikachu movie will be celebrating its 5-year anniversary on the 10th of May next month. So, big day for Pokemon and Planet of the Apes next month. That's cool. And also, I want to talk about Sonic 3, as I mentioned in a post just yesterday, that Keanu Reeves has just been cast as Shadow the Hedgehog for Sonic 3, which is interesting casting to say the least. He's quite the action star nowadays, from his Matrix movies and from John Wick. He's such a well-known actor now, and the fact that he's voicing Shadow the Hedgehog is really cool. Originally I was thinking Hayden Christensen could do a really good job as that character, but Keanu Reeves, that's also really good casting. And I've heard some of the producers talking about how the Sonic movies will eventually lead to Avengers level event films, which obviously makes me think of Super Smash Brothers, and well, that could definitely potentially happen one day if they keep making more Mario movies, more Sonic movies. I mentioned this before, in how they need to slowly build that up if they do want to eventually cross over all these characters. But they would also, there's some legal issues there. If they wanted to do that, they'd have to all these different studios would have to create partnerships with each other in order for that to happen. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out by the end of the year in December, and then also the Knuckles TV spin-off show will premiere on Paramount Plus next week, April 26th. So I'll definitely cover that. And so yeah, so all of that is moved aside. And in regards to Detective Pikachu, that movie still holds up. I absolutely love that film. Well, it's not perfect by any means, but I just love it. I just love it because when I saw that movie for the first time 5 years ago, I cried. I cried watching Detective Pikachu for the first time in theaters. Not because I was sad, but because I was looking at Pokemon for the first time in live action. It was just, and there was just some really beautiful shots in that film to look at that to this day I still finding Easter eggs when pausing on certain frames in the film, and I just love that film. I really do. So, moving that aside, what Wes Ball could do with Legend of Zelda, there's a number of things. He could, obviously, I would assume that this movie will primarily be within its own continuity and not be connected to the games. They could do that, but still honoring the games. And I'm curious, because Link is a silent protagonist. He always has been. So, and this is going to be a movie, so I imagine that Link will be talking in this movie. He'd have to, if they have a really well-known actor play Link. And also casting Zelda and Ganondorf, if Ganondorf is the villain of the movie. And then also, where in the timeline would this be? Would this be similar to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, at the end of the timeline, or would it be a prequel film? What is he gonna do with this iteration of Zelda? What will it look like? If Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes looks as good as it does, and and it does. It looks amazing. I haven't seen the movie yet, but with all the marketing I've seen so far of the trailers and all that, Kingdom looks beautiful. And seeing some of that translated into the Zelda movie will definitely play a part in that. So where in the timeline would that be? Would it be, say, closer to like Skyward Sword, where it's like a prequel story? And that's something that's interesting, because what if they did a story about Goddess Hylia herself, like the original iteration of that character, and how she created the world? I mean, that would be really interesting. That would be really interesting to me. Just like a personal fan theory of mine of what I would want to see for a Zelda story that we've never seen before. The origin of the world, basically. The original Goddess Hylia herself. I think that'd be really cool. But, you know, I imagine that they're probably not gonna do that. That's just a fan plot theory of mine. But yeah, where would they take that story? I don't know. I imagine that maybe it'll be around close to Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, where it's like maybe the setting is this great big sea, like Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, or Twilight Princess, where, you know, Link is going on a journey throughout Hyrule, you know, and he'd have to save Princess Zelda from Ganondorf, you know, something like that. It's so interesting what Wes Ball will do with this new film, and it's exciting. I'm just a little bit concerned of how they'll handle like creating the more well-known creatures of this world, like the Bokoblins, for example, Stalfos, you know, things like that. I'm really curious how they're going to handle all these different enemies that we have always seen in the games. How are they going to adapt all those creatures and enemies into live action? And I imagine it would be like CGI animation, like what they did for the Pokemon in the Detective Pikachu movie. So I could see that working out in that way. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on all this stuff, you know, Legend of Zelda, Sonic, Detective Pikachu. And yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about here. And I cannot wait for all these other projects that are coming in regards to, you know, Nintendo adaptations. I really am so curious what Wes Ball will do with Zelda. We shall see. All right, guys, take care and have a great day. Peace.